Okay, good morning. The time is 9:27 in the morning. The date is November the 18th of 2025. We're in Baton Rouge at headquarters. We've already introduced ourselves, and you can see from our name tags who we are here. We're going to be handling a case at LCIW. The case is about Brenda Thornton, who is requesting to be paroled at this particular time. And so we'll go to LCIW. And Miss Brenda Thornton, would you introduce yourself and give us your DLC number?
Yes, sir. Brenda Thornton, number 121327.
Okay, thank you. And Warden, we appreciate you hosting us. Would you introduce your staff there that's with us?
Yes, sir. Kristen Thomas, Warden.
Captain Asha Harris, Security.
And we have Miss Thornton's attorney with us in here.
Okay. All right. Where's Miss Thornton's attorney? Okay, there you are. Okay, would you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, good morning. My name's Hannah Rose Grodell. I'm Miss Brenda Thornton's attorney, and I'm with the Louisiana Parole Project.
Okay, thank you. We appreciate you being there and the work that y'all do. Warden, just as a note of information, I noticed the last time we were there, the camera is really out of focus. We can barely identify who's speaking. So you might look at that when
Yes, sir.
we're offline sometime. We can conduct a hearing and that's fine, but might check on that.
Okay.
Okay, Miss Brenda Thornton, today is going to be your day because you've requested this. We want to know what you did to get you there. We've got all the reports and everything, and we've all read those, all three of us, and I'll be doing the questioning later on. But we want to hear from you what you've done and what got you there, what you've done since you've been there, why you think you're deserving of an early release, and then we'll go to the warden and ask the warden exactly what all your conduct has been while you've been institutionalized. Then we'll move on to your supporters. I'll introduce them in a little bit, and then those in opposition, and we'll introduce those. So to begin with, Brenda, today is your day. Go ahead and tell us what got you there and why you think you're deserving of an early out.
Yes, sir. I would like to thank the board first and foremost for allowing me to be able the opportunity to speak today. I would also like to acknowledge that I did not speak as openly as I should have previously. I have always felt responsible for the death of Johnny Thornton, but now I understand the extent of my responsibility. Before I speak about my selfish and harmful choices, I would like to apologize to my son, John Derrick, and to the Smith family of Renee, Billy Wayne, Jason, Greg, and Alicia. No words can ever truly express my deep remorse and sorrow for the pain, the heartache, and the continued loss that I have caused you. I know your hearts are torn forever by Johnny's death, and I also know that you feel his loss daily, and especially and certainly on days like today. I truly regret the pain and the suffering that I have caused you by Johnny's death and my continued silence since then. I am here today because I am responsible for the death of Johnny Thornton. Johnny was suffering from a previous back injury that led to a recent hospital stay. Instead of working on our marriage, I selfishly and wrongfully began an extramarital affair that subjected Johnny to the anger, the jealousy, and threats of a very volatile and violent man that I invited into our lives. Dennis and I had had multiple conversations, and when he began to make threats against Johnny, though I did not agree, I did not notify the police or family members about the threats, though I had multiple opportunities to do so. When Dennis said he was coming over that night, I knew that he meant harm to Johnny, and even though my 3-year-old son was at home with me, again, I did not call or notify anyone for help. When Dennis hit Johnny with the bat, while John Derrick and I were in the house, I did not call for help again. My silence allowed Dennis to brutally murder Johnny and forced my son to witness the cruel and violent attack on his father. My choices forced my son to live a life of pain, fear, and suffering, and I am so very sorry that I caused him that devastating loss of his father and so much more. I did not stop the attack before or during it, and even though I knew Johnny was seriously injured, I did not call law enforcement, nor did I notify any family. I chose to make misleading phone calls and to destroy the evidence. I have not been forthcoming about my role in Johnny's murder until now, and I chose the weapon of silence and fear. Because of my silence, Johnny was brutally murdered, and John Derrick was forced to witness. There are no excuses for my failures. I failed to end the affair. I failed to stop Dennis from coming over. I failed to call law enforcement. I failed to notify my family. I failed as a wife, and I most certainly failed as a mother to keep my son safe. Because of my failures, Johnny lost his life, John Derrick lost his father, and the Smith family lost a brother, an uncle, and their loved one. Over the last 37 and a half years, I have confronted my failures and my shortcomings through a commitment of learning, of faith, and service to others. Through classes like Life Healing Choices and Thinking for a Change, I have addressed the selfish, fearful, and harmful actions of my past. And I have learned the tools needed to be a positive member of my community. In my roles as reentry court mentor and peer minister, I have been able to successfully implement those tools. I now understand that every word that is spoken or not spoken has consequences, and they influence those that are around me. I have learned to give and to not take. I have learned to heal and not harm. And I have learned to speak up when something is wrong, no matter the circumstances. I understand that there are no words, there's no actions, and there is no amount of change that can erase the painful loss that I have caused my son, John Derrick, the Smith family, other generations that follow. And this guilt, regret, and shame will be with me for the rest of my life. Today, I humbly ask the board to please grant my petition of parole to continue my decades of growth and service outside of prison. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for those words, and we'll get around to you and ask some questions in a little bit. We'd like to hear now from the warden. Would you tell us a little bit about her behavior and accomplishments and disciplines while she's been there?
Yes, sir. Ms. Thornton is one of our minimum security inmates. As she mentioned, she lives in one of our dorms mentoring. She has an excellent disciplinary record. Her last disciplinary write-up was in 2002. She's completed various programs, probably all of them. And she is an NOBTS graduate, which I know she's very proud of. And she does continue to mentor and offer peer support to the ladies that live here at LCIW. So like I said, we have zero issues with her. She's been a minimum security inmate for a long time. I know if she does get a favorable vote today, that she's working with the parole project for release plans and transition plans, which I know Mr. Blake will probably go into a little bit more detail on.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that. And we will, we'll go ahead now and talk to, let's go ahead before we get to the parole project and Miss Grable, is that what I'm saying? Am I saying that right?
Miss Grodell.
Grobel. Okay, Miss Grobel. Okay, I'll probably say it wrong in just a minute again, so I apologize. It's not intentional. We'll save you to last and let you wrap up at the end of the supporters. And so let's go ahead and talk to the DOC chaplain, Miss Deborah Sharkey. Is Miss Sharkey there? Oh, there you are. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Would you go ahead and tell us what you have to say then?
Yes, thank you. Can I stand here?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to speak on behalf of Ms. Brenda Thornton. My name is Dr. Deborah Sharkey. I serve as the Director of Chaplaincy Services for the Louisiana Department of Public Safety and Corrections. And I also direct the NOBTS Seminary Extension Center at the Louisiana Correctional Institute for Women. Because of that role, I still return to LCIW regularly and stay closely connected to our peer ministers there. Before working at headquarters, I served as the chaplain at LCIW for more than 11 years. In total, I have known Brenda Thornton for over 15 years. When I first met Brenda, she was a student in our seminary program. She shared with me on numerous occasions that when she first entered prison, she was insecure, frightened, and selfish. But that is not the woman that I encountered. From the beginning, I saw someone who was quiet, patient, respectful, and steadily developing into a strong and confident leader. As a student, Brenda excelled academically and stood at the top of her class. I often watched her tutor and encourage women who struggled academically. She was never required to do that. She chose to do it because she genuinely cares about others and their success. After receiving her bachelor's degree, Brenda stepped up into key leadership roles. She became a peer minister, a reentry court mentor, and a trauma healing facilitator. In her role as a peer minister, Brenda conducts dorm rounds, performs memorial services, graveside services. Like the warden said, she has minimum custody status, so it's very few people that are able to go to the graveside to perform those services as inmates. And Brenda also facilitates CTRP classes. She does lay counseling and grief counseling. She strictly follows institutional policies and chapel procedures, particularly with confidentiality. Brenda consistently goes above and beyond what is required. She notices needs and takes initiative. She has excellent people skills and she is calm under stress, patient in conflict, and often serves as a peacemaker. Another role that Brenda served in was to go and to be an orderly when some of our women were incarcerated at LSP. That was a very trusted position as well, and one that was very difficult. And Brenda volunteered to do that. So I've watched Brenda help people in difficult moments. And after the flood, when Brenda was incarcerated at Hunt with some of our women, she stepped up and became the chapel liaison and the chapel support for every one of our programs, faith-based programs that was at Hunt. And again, she gave up a lot of nights of sleep and sacrificed a lot, was not paid to do that. And that was something that she volunteered to do because she felt a call to serve Christ by serving others. But even before Brenda became a peer minister, she faithfully served for many years in the chapel vestry, preparing for our services across multiple faith traditions, Catholic, Protestant, Episcopal, and Jewish. She coordinated our chapel events, both religious and non-religious. Because I continue to oversee the Seminary Extension Center at LCIW, I still see Brenda regularly. I've watched her continued growth, maturity, and stability. The woman she is today has been shaped by years of consistent, faithful service and personal transformation. In all the years I've known her, Brenda has demonstrated integrity, accountability, compassion, and leadership. And I thank you again for the opportunity to speak on her behalf today. I'm honored to do so.
Great, thank you, Ms. Sharkey, for those words. We'll take them into consideration. Mr. Randy Clement.
Yep, got clip on. Clement. My name is Randy Clement. I'm a permanent deacon in the Catholic Church, and I was a volunteer chaplain at LCIW for many years. I am here to support Ms. Thornton's request for parole. This lady, Brenda, that I can see on the screen back of me, has been more of a minister to me than I was a minister to her. I have lost multiple family members in gun violence, including my uncle, a priest, my niece, and my nephew, a sheriff deputy, who was killed in a drug bust that went awry. I was upset and didn't even want to go back to the prison, knowing that I may go and help people that killed my uncle. But I went. And Brenda actually supported me and loved me through my anger times and showed me that there's another side of life. She helped me on my journey for forgiveness, where I got to meet the young man in the prison serving time for killing my nephew. I can truly say that I am a better person knowing her. I didn't know her at the time of this incident, all those years ago. I didn't even know she existed. I had never heard her story. But now I have had the pleasure of knowing her for the 25 years that I've been working at LCIW. And I can truly say that this woman will better serve our society if granted a parole, so that she can serve people in the public as she did with me and those in prison now. I'm kind of selfish though, but I hate to see her leave LCI because she's such a valuable part of my life. She's been like a family to me. But in my opinion, it would be a huge loss to society for her to have to remain in prison. She is not the person she once was. I am here today to guarantee this board that Mrs. Thornton has gone to be a remarkable lady and has helped us, a lot of us, including myself. I'm confident we will only continue to pour herself into helping others if she is granted release. Thanks for listening to me, and I'm honored to be to talk about it.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for those words, and we appreciate and we'll take those into consideration. Next, we'll go to Mr. Channing Blake with Louisiana Parole Project. Mr. Blake, would you tell us what you got on your mind?
Yes, sir. Good morning to this honorable board. Channing Blake with Louisiana Parole Project on behalf of Ms. Brenda Thornton. Because of the programming and the classes she's taken, she's been 20 plus years right up free. Her trustee status and her time served, we've accepted her into our program. We're going to offer her reentry services that include transitional housing, social norms, consumer skills, and many more. She will also be given a reentry specialist that'll mentor her through the reentry process. So based upon her record and rehabilitation, we ask that you grant her parole today. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Blake. Appreciate that. And now we'll move on to Miss Hannah, Miss Grobel. Yeah, I don't know if I say that right.
We're gonna get there. My name's Hannah Rhodes. Hannah Rhodes. You can call me Hannah Rhodes. That might be easier.
Yes, ma'am. That might be.
I'm Hannah Rhodes.
Thank you, ma'am. Tell us what's on your mind, please.
Yes, first I want to start by expressing our deepest condolences to the family of Johnny Thornton. Their loss is immeasurable, and the pain that they have had to carry both over the last 38 years and in returning here today is profound. We honor their suffering, and we recognize the impact of this tragedy on everyone who loved Johnny. The fearful 24-year-old Brenda Thornton at the time of this senseless murder is not the same wise 63-year-old woman before you today. Ms. Thornton now fully understands her role and responsibility and has spoken openly about her failures on the day Johnny died and her failures in the days and years surrounding it. What she did not share, out of humility and respect for the gravity of this hearing, is that she had been abused all her life until meeting Johnny. Her lived experience taught her that submission and silence were necessary for survival, and I do not offer this to excuse or justify her actions, but to provide context for understanding who young Brenda was all those years ago and how fear, trauma, and learned helplessness shaped her poor decision-making. While she neither committed an act of physical violence nor asked Dennis Moss to do so, Ms. Thornton has always felt deeply responsible for Johnny's death. She cooperated with law enforcement and accepted a plea agreement because she understood her failures and her choices contributed to his murder. Since that time, Ms. Thornton has spent nearly 38 years in prison, demonstrating an unwavering commitment to growth and service. For more than 3 decades, she has served as a Class A trustee, maintaining an exemplary disciplinary record without a single write-up in almost 25 years, reflecting far more than institutional compliance. This reflects genuine transformation. Ms. Thornton has become one of the most trusted and relied upon mentors within the institution. She teaches courses like trauma healing and thinking for a change, programs that are centered on emotional regulation, accountability, and healing. She also teaches good time classes, including Life of a Single Mom and the Onesimus Project. Since her last hearing, she's taken Sisters Keeper on domestic violence and Celebrate Recovery to continue her rehabilitation. As a reentry court mentor, peer minister, and lay counselor for the entire compound, she is entrusted with preparing other women for release, guiding them through crises, and modeling the self-discipline and morality needed for success. The institution depends on her to uphold the highest standard of conduct and to help others cultivate those same standards. Now, Ms. Thornton is a woman who knows and does better and is relied upon by the department to steer others in the right direction. Stephanie King, one of Ms. Thornton's supporters, who has successfully transitioned home from LCIW and now works in the Baton Rouge Public Defender's Office, wrote in her letter, "Brenda Thornton cares deeply about people and has no problem putting others before herself. When I first arrived at LCIW, she supported me and helped me navigate difficult times. I grew so close to her, I often called her mom." I am here to assure this board that Ms. Thornton presents no threat to public safety. She has long since aged out of any risk of reoffending. She has become a model of stability, integrity, and service. When this board recommended her for clemency in 2018, the warden remarked, "She is just focused on always helping others." And while no amount of rehabilitation can undo the harm of her past, the Brenda Thornton of today is prepared to re-enter society, not as the passive and immature young woman she once was, but as the humble, spiritually grounded elder, teacher, mentor, and servant she has spent decades becoming. We want to thank you for your time, your attention, and your thoughtful consideration of Ms. Thornton's request to complete the remainder of her sentence on parole.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for those words, and we'll take them into consideration also for purposes of the record and so that Miss Brenda Thornton will know who all is here. Those that are here at headquarters but not speaking are Stephanie King, Beatrice Taylor, Susan Brown, Sabrina Monaco, probably wrong, Monaco, and Jan Waters. They are here in support, but not speaking, just so you will know that. We'll move on now to folks that are on Zoom, and this is those in opposition of this request. And we've got Brenda Renee Smith, John Smith, and Kimberly Hatton. So we'll first go to the victim's sister, Miss Brenda Smith. Miss Smith, are you on Zoom with us?
Yes, I'm on Zoom. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. I am in opposition. There is only half-truths that are told here today. And for that reason, I am in total opposition. For what she told, she made it sound like that Dennis Moss was totally in fault and she was only playing along but she totally planned out the murder of Johnny Thornton. She took out a large life insurance policy on him, and they planned his murder together. So she is totally at fault. And she did not tell that portion of the story. And I do not feel that she should be released. And she had a decision she could have made, and it come to that crossroad. And my brother is no longer here with us, and he cannot stand up for himself, so I am standing up for him. And I am totally against it and will always be against her release. And if my words have any bearing here today, I ask you, please do not release her and let the official court decision stand as it was on the day of the hearing back in 1988, as Judge Strong ruled in that decision.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you for those words, and we'll take those into consideration also. Let's move to those that are with Ms. Smith. Kimberly Hatton, if I'm saying that right.
You are.
Okay,
Thank
would
you for
you
allowing,
tell us?
thank you for allowing me to speak. And I can't even fathom her wanting to get out. She held her 3-year-old on her hip. She watched. She had time. She knew Dennis Moss stopped in Faraday, Louisiana and bought the ball bat, the machete, whatever. This was planned. She's up there telling lies. Brenda, come clean. If you have done all of these deeds down there, that's where you need to be, because you're not telling these people the truth. You are not, God knows what
Pat?
you did. Yes.
Speak to the board, please, ma'am.
Yes.
Speak to
Can
the
you hear?
board and not her.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yes.
Brenda planned it. She took out this big life insurance policy. She knew Dennis was going to stop and buy the ball bat, the machete. She stood there and watched them hit him over the head with it, stab him. She sat there and watched them drag him to his own truck and haul him off, and he was still alive when he was found. She then dug up the blood off of the ground and put it in a flower pot and covered the flower pot up with dirt to look like she planted flowers. She had all of this planned for money. And for Dennis Moss, for her boyfriend. Johnny had to drag himself, slide his feet to even go out there. And she told Dennis Moss that Johnny was trying to sell his welding truck or his whatever. She told him when to come and what to ask for. He was fixing to have back surgery. He slid his feet out to get out there to show him what he had for sale, and that's when they killed him. They stabbed him and hit him over the head with a ball bat. And she's going to sit down there and say that she didn't know. I mean, I cannot even imagine. She's lying to God. God knows what she did. Why would she want to uproot this child's life now? After he's gone on with his life, he's got a precious baby. He's got a precious wife. And why would you even want to come put that on him? He's gone on. Let him live his life. Don't come back and don't tell somebody that you will not try to enter his life again, because yes, you will. You've planned all of this. I'm proud of what you've done down there. I mean, it sounds like you've done what is expected of you or what you should do, but stay there. That's where you need to be. You have got a good life, obviously, there. Stay there. Don't uproot this child. Don't bring him. Don't
Ms. Hatton,
don't mess up his life.
Ms. Hatton,
I'm
please.
sorry. I'm just.
Talk.
I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am. We appreciate
Okay.
the comments, and we will keep consideration, take them Also, now finally, on behalf of those in opposition, we'll talk to Mr. John Smith, who's the victim's son. Mr. Smith?
Sir, John Thornton Smith. I don't believe she needs to be released from prison. She just said everything to y'all. She knew exactly what was happening. She knew she had time to do something, to call the authorities, to stop it, but she didn't. She made that choice, and I was there the whole time. And you know, I don't think she should be released from prison. I really think she should be there, still stay there.
Okay.
And
Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
that's about all I got to say. I really don't think she needs to be released. That's how I feel. That's how I feel, sir. I don't think she needs to be released. She knew the whole thing.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. Smith. We appreciate you coming on, and we'll take that into consideration. Also, I'm sorry to all three of you for your loss. I know you hurt a lot and continue to hurt. Okay, well, we'll move in now, Miss Brenda. We'll move in now to asking questions a little bit, and all three of us are very familiar with your case. We've read hundreds of pages of hearings and the trial and police reports and commutation of sentence. And it's up to me to ask the questions. Case was assigned to me. Your good time date is in 2036, correct? Is that the time?
Yes, sir, I believe so.
Okay, so you'll be released in July of 2036 if things go right because of the law. You pled guilty to first-degree murder and received a life sentence in 1988. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then you came before not this board, but you came before the pardon board and asked them to commute your sentence to 99 years with immediate eligibility for parole. And that was signed by the governor in August of 2023. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that's why we're here. We've heard the details of the crime, and I don't really need to go over a lot of that. It's apparent that, and correct me if I'm wrong, you knew exactly what was going to transpire and allowed it to transpire as planned. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I want you to know that all law enforcement and the victims, of course, you've heard the victim statements, but all law enforcement is very opposed for this particular effort of you to get your parole. I don't really have any other questions. I'm very familiar with the case and statements and victim opposition and from all of the chaplain testimony and parole project. So I don't really have any other questions.
I just got a couple, Mr. Prater.
Yes.
Brenda, where's your family? I mean, I see all these people here, but none of them say brother, sister, cousin, anything. I mean,
The majority of my family, Mr. Freeman, is deceased. They were older and in poor health. The few remaining people that I have, they are also in their upper 80s, late 70s and upper 80s, which is my mother's two sisters that are there. And one is out of state and the other one is in a dementia assisted living area.
did they ever come visit you? Were they on your visiting list at one time?
No, sir.
Okay. And tell me about this insurance policy. That one caught me off guard, and I was on your case before.
Yes,
So did
sir.
you purchase an insurance policy on him?
I did not take out the insurance policy. My husband took out the insurance policy, and there was no payments ever made on it.
Okay. That's the questions I had.
Did you encourage him to take it out?
No, sir. He did because he was going to be reassigned offshore. He worked offshore and he wanted his liability to increase in case something happened to him for his son and myself.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
I'd like to go into executive session.
Okay, we have a motion to go into executive session. Do we have a
I'll
second? Okay, got a motion and a second to go into executive session. Hearing no opposition, we'll be in executive session. The time is 10:02. We'll be gone into executive session in the back room for just a couple of minutes. It won't take long. Then we'll come right back and we will take a vote and then announce our decision. So we've got some matters to discuss All right, the time is 10:08 in the morning. We're going to go back into regular session, but if we have votes to do that.
I'll make a motion, we go back into regular session.
A second.
Okay, a motion and a second to go back into regular session. If there's no opposition, which there is not, we'll be back in regular session. As I said, and now it's 10:09. We had some procedural matters to discuss at the time. Ms. Thornton, this is my case, so I'll be the first to vote, and then we'll hear what their votes are. And in order to get out, you got to have a unanimous vote, as you know, of the parole board. And you're doing a great job where you're doing it, and I respect everything that everybody's said about you. However, because of victim opposition, because of law enforcement opposition, because of the fact that you do have a good time date, and hopefully we'll see you before then, but because of the fact that you pled and the family of the deceased, all of them thought that you were going to be in for life and then 99 years and now this. My vote is to deny your request. Mr. Freeman?
Okay, my vote would be to grant to the parole project for a minimum of 1 year. And that you not go back to the parish where this crime was committed. No contact with the victims or your son unless initiated by them. That's my vote.
I concur with Mr. Freeman.
Okay, I'm sorry to tell you, but the vote is 2-1. And I hope that you will take every advantage of applying again. But I think that at this particular time, you're doing a great job where you are. They can use you as a staff member. You're like an unpaid staff member, basically. And keep doing the same job that you're doing, and you'll be blessed beyond, and you'll bless other people. But this time, as I said before, your parole is denied. The time is 10:11 in the hearing.